Hey there, what is going on? It is Crypto Bobby coming to you with another Crypto Happy Hour YouTube Live this evening. Thank you very much for taking the time to join. Hope you have had an awesome weekend. Right now, Sunday night, 5:30 or so p.m. Eastern time. So hope you had a good Thanksgiving weekend. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, if you're somewhere where there is no Thanksgiving celebrated, hope you had a nice weekend anyway. And today, just want to talk a little bit about what's going on with Bitcoin, what's going on with some of the other cryptocurrencies that are happening and moving today. So hope you are having a good one. Let me pop open the chat for you guys so we can pop that out. What is going on? Evelyn, Damon, Jacob, what's up? What's up? Hope you guys are having a good one so far. Sweet. So it looks like we are all set up and all good for the time being. What's up, Christopher, Justin, Corey? Hope you guys are having a good one. And I guess to kick things off today, really looking at Bitcoin. And we are almost at 10K, which is pretty nuts in and of itself. The movement, if we pull up the one-day charts, it's basically been a movement straight up for, let's say, the past 3 months has been pretty crazy. There was one point in time where Bitcoin kind of pushed up back in. Going into September 1st, Bitcoin pushed up to $5,000, crashed all the way down to about $3,000. And since then, since mid-September, has for the most part gone straight up with a, so dude, what's up? Has gone straight through the roof. So this has been pretty, I mean, at least in my opinion, pretty crazy to see, pretty crazy to watch as it's gone down and as we've continued to develop this. So want to talk a little bit about Bitcoin today. Want to talk about some of the other cryptos that have had nice movements in the past 24 hours. If we're looking at Decreed having a real nice move, Cardano moving upwards really nicely as well. And I just got into Cardano in the past week, so I am not disappointed and not mad about the 28% gain on Cardano. EOS having a nice move, Kyber finally showing some life, Salt, ARK. And obviously Bitcoin up 7% today. So definitely want to talk about all of that and obviously answer all your questions, guys. And if you've been here for a while, if you haven't, try to answer as many questions as you guys have. But if it's something you absolutely must have answered, sometimes there's too many questions for me to answer. So if it's absolutely something you want to have answered, throw it in a super chat and I will definitely do my best to answer that and make sure we get all that moving in the right direction. And also, to that point as well, just want to say a quick thank you guys. Hit 40,000 subscribers today, which is pretty crazy. So quick thank you to all you for that. So that's pretty awesome. So taking a look at some of these questions as a proud EOS holder. Yeah, EOS has had a pretty. We'll pull up the charts on EOS to take a look at what's been rolling on there. And EOS is one that I haven't had any money in at all, but it's made a nice little bit of a comeback. It pretty much immediately after its ICO back in early July went all the way up to $5 and has basically traded downwards since its ICO. It looked like it established a nice little bit of a base pretty much across the month of mid-September to October and might have bottomed out in that 50-60 cent range. And if you got into EOS in that 50-60 cent range, you're in 4 to 5x profit right now, which is pretty crazy, pretty awesome. So yeah, Steven, whatever you want tonight for Crypto Happy Hour. I am drinking again. I'm going real crazy with a nice Poland Spring IPA. So wanted to chill out after a pretty long Thanksgiving weekend. So figured I'd detox a little bit. But if you guys are drinking anything interesting, beer, wine, whiskey, whatever it might be, would love to hear it. But EOS, pretty incredible move today, up about 50 cents. And I mean, that's on a $2 coin, so that is one heck of a move. But if we look back from when EOS kind of bottomed out a little bit here, EOS is up, let's say from kind of the bottom back in mid to the end of October, EOS is up about 400%, which is nuts. Time Crypto Profit invested into Cardano at can't really read it all the way out, but point blah 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 0.000035. I think it's trading at 0.004 something right now, about 0.45. That's about where I got into Cardano as well. Pretty much is only trading on Bittrex right now. I'm holding, for me personally, I am holding John, nice long stout, nice. I had a couple stouts last night. They were delicious. So I am personally holding on to Cardano. I'm trying to build up a little bit of a longer term position, but I talked about it a little bit previously, but I'm trying to build up a nice size position in Cardano in potential anticipation of it getting a little bit more of a mainstream pickup in Asia. So right now, Cardano is primarily traded, really only traded on Bittrex. It is a coin that's kind of based out of Japan, or a lot of the initial investors were from Japan. A lot of that kind of team is from Japan. It's not really traded. The market is not really there yet. So if it does get added to one of those exchanges, I think it might go nuts. So I'm definitely going to make that move when it does happen and see how it might progress. But I got into Cardano at that point in 0.00035, and it's up about 20-something% today, which is awesome. Brandon, what is up, my man? Appreciate that super chat. Thank you very much. So Brandon mentioned, saw the video earlier today. I posted a video about the Bitcoin going up to probably $10,000, and when it does, or if it comes up, there's a lot of talk about the bubble, the crypto bubble, it popping, and I talked about how you could potentially protect yourself a little bit in terms of risk, and with that said, how you could protect yourself, or how I'm really protecting myself. For the most part, I have the money in crypto that I'm potentially willing to lose in some cases, but even if crypto goes down 80%, 85, 90%, that still recovers my initial investment because of the profits for the most part that I've made. So even if there is a massive correction, I'll still be able to cover my initial investment. So I'm not super, I'm not kind of petrified of that happening. But for the people that have gotten into crypto later and don't have that percentage gains where it's gone up so rapidly, I would say that if you want to have a stop loss, if you want to have a stop in place where I'm only willing to lose 50%, I'm only willing to lose whatever percentage it might be, put that stop loss order in place, or just have that money ready if it's on a ledger, if it's on something else, then you should be okay in that regards. So somebody mentioned, is Ethereum rising, or Ethereum is rising again? We'll pop over. We'll take a look at Ethereum. So I talked a little bit about this previously. I was pretty happy to see this personally. But yeah, Ethereum has had a little bit of a comeback. I would say in the past, we'll pull it up on the hour charts here. So Ethereum earlier today went down to about 455 or so, and is now back up about $20 to 475. This is really, I don't think a 1 hour candle is closed above 475, maybe a little bit above 475, but it's certainly never closed above 480 yet. So if Ethereum could pop over 480, that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I made a big, as a lot of you guys know, and maybe some of you don't, but I made a pretty big move into Ethereum in the 310 range and in the 328 range. So I have been letting those letting the Ethereum ride, and I'm basically at this point in time equally into Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of fiat value. David, appreciate that super chat. Thank you very much for that. Making my first move into crypto. Everything is at an all-time high. Should I wait for a dip or go for it? Planning on about 80% Bitcoin, 80% Bit and ETH, which is kind of what I have at 20% altcoin. So pretty good strategy there as far as I think overall what you might be looking at. I would say it's tough to know. It's tough to call the top. It's really impossible. I think it's, a lot of people want to call the top because it's like a sexy thing to talk about and say like, oh, the top is here. But people have literally, so let's pull up the Bitcoin chart. People have tried to call the top everywhere in here, which is why I've been hesitant to do it. Because number one, I don't know when the top is going to be. The top could be at $10,000. The top could be at $20,000. So, but basically in this entire 3-month span, people have been calling the top everywhere. People called the top back here and it went down. And they said, haha, I'm right. And then it went up and up and up and up and up. And then people called the top here and then it went down a little bit. And then it just went right back up and then went through the damn roof. So people have been calling the top everywhere. I think my one suggestion in some cases would be, if you're brand new to crypto, is to dollar cost average a little bit. Like, let's say you put 50% of your money in now, and you might wait a month or two or however long you want to wait, and then put the next 50% of your money in. That way you have a little bit of an exposure, and you're not sitting there waiting for a dip that might not come for a long time. But at the same point in time, if a dip does come, then you're able to, basically then you're able to have that money in a reserve to buy during the dip. On the other end of the spectrum, kind of worst case scenario happens is your 50%, the initial 50% that you put in goes up, and then, hey, at least you made some profit. You can buy in more or do whatever you want there. So that's kind of what I would suggest. Brandon, appreciate that very much. Thanks a lot for that. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know, but thank you so much. Yeah, Max says not even close to the top. Some people are saying, whatever, shorting Bitcoin is no, all this stuff, it's all speculation. Everybody has a different opinion on it, and it's all in the future. So it's pretty difficult to, people can draw as many lines on a chart as they want. People can point to as many different things as they want. I don't think anybody really knows the future. A lot of people are hesitant to say, hey, this is going to be $10,000 in the past. Personally, I didn't really think that by December 1st of this year that Bitcoin would run up this quickly. Even as soon as a week ago, I thought that would have been pretty tough to see, but it's just accelerated the move. So it's been fascinating for sure. Taking a look at some of these questions here. Hey, what's up, GF? There will be no top. Yeah, that would be ideal. And that's one interesting point too, and that's a little bit about what I talked today during the video, was institutional investors and how far away are they from getting in. The CME futures group has not yet. That's coming December 11th, I believe, with the CME futures. So if you're not familiar with that, definitely take a look at what the CME futures is going to bring to the market. But essentially, it's going to allow big banks and institutional investors and other traders to gamble on the price of cryptocurrency, essentially, not necessarily gamble, but to place futures bets on both the up movement and the down movement of Bitcoin. And those contracts are pretty decent sized contracts as well, I believe. Patson, thank you very much for that super chat. Am I familiar with Genesis Vision? Got in during the ICO and up 5x already. It has a 4 million max. Do you see such a... I am not familiar with Genesis Vision, quite frankly. Let's see. Not too familiar with Genesis Vision. I might have taken a little bit of a look at these guys previously. I feel like I've gotten a couple different questions about these guys before, but I am not too familiar with Genesis Vision, so I'd have to do a little bit more research. If you're up 5x, taking at least an initial profit is never a bad thing. A lot of you guys know my favorite story with Manitha, and if you're playing the Manitha drinking game, drink. But after the Manitha ICO, it was up about 3x. Got greedy, did not take profits. I didn't take any profits at all. I think I put 8 Ethereum into the Manitha ICO. At one point, it was up to about 20. It was worth about 22 ETH, and didn't take any profits because it was only listed on like Ether Delta. And I was like, the second it hits a good exchange, it's going to go through the roof. Didn't go anywhere. It went down and down and down and is now trading below ICO price. And I ended up just dropping the bags and said, hey, I'm out of here. And that was actually a good move because I ended up putting that into Ethereum and into Bitcoin, which went straight through the roof as Manitha went nowhere. So that's a little bit of, could Genesis Vision go up? Yes. But is it the absolute worst when you have 5x profit in your hands and it literally you don't do anything? That sucks. So definitely not something that's fun. Manitha, what up? Ian or Ilan, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you have any questions, definitely let me... okay, there we go. How do you know that there is a real crash or just a correction? What will you do if you notice a bull-bear reversal? HODL, sell, or hedge into something else, fiat or bullion. I'm not a precious metals bullion type of guy. If I think that there is a bull market coming, most likely what I do is sell some of my crypto back into fiat, utilizing something like GDAX, convert some of the altcoins, or if it's just Bitcoin and Ethereum, convert it back into fiat with the intention of buying lower and making that move. So that's a lot of what I would do is if I see, I mean, I'm definitely going to tell you guys and I'm going to inform you, but I haven't noticed and for the most part, if we've hit any bearish trends or if we've hit any significant dips, I mean, these are the big buying opportunities. This was a buying opportunity. Going back, this was a buying opportunity. I bought it both places, and it turned out well for the most part. So it's in some cases, outside of Bitcoin and outside of Ethereum, like if you bought XRP when you thought, if you bought Ripple when there was a big dip, for the most part, if we're looking at Ripple versus Bitcoin, it hasn't. Let's see if we can find it on another. Here we go. Somewhere with a longer trade volume. You could have looked at this and said, oh, it's dipping, it's dipping, it's dipping. It's never really came back versus Bitcoin. For a lot of other cryptos, that's kind of been the same story. But if something like Bitcoin dips, Bitcoin has traditionally gone up and up and up regardless. So that's usually a pretty good buy. Taking a look at some of these questions. Oh, there we go. Can you please make a video about how to cash out of crypto? Yeah, I mean, you could just use as cashing out of crypto is the same thing as cashing in on crypto. Wherever you put your money into, if you use CoinBase, if you use GDAX, whatever it is, it's the exact same. Cashing out of crypto is the exact same thing you would do when you cash in. It's just the opposite. So if you got your fiat currency into crypto, then you can get your crypto back into fiat and get it back into your bank if you want to do that. So I can make a video on it, but I think it's in a lot of cases somewhat self-explanatory. CoinBase, what's going on? What's going on? Where does the USD volume on Bitfinex come from? I don't know if that's the USD volume or the Tether volume, but that's one of the big hot topics in crypto right now is Tether and Bitfinex in cahoots, and are they doing wash trading, and are they pumping up the price of Bitcoin? And that's something that if you follow Bitfinex on Twitter, not Bitfinex, Bitfinex on Twitter, you can check him out, but he's kind of on a one-man mission to expose what he believes is fraudulent activities from Bitfinex. Definitely check that out, especially if you're a conspiracy theorist type of person or you're just really critical of some of the fraudulent stuff that might be going on in the crypto world. I would take a look at that. So taking a look at some of these questions, Coinbase restricted my account. So, dude, what's up? I'll never tell, Dominic. I'll never tell. So taking a look at some of these 2 to 3x gains in Substratum over the weekend. Any interest in the projects? Decentralized web hosting. Substantial interest leading up to net neutrality bill. I'll take a little look at Substratum here. Actually, I'll go into a different tab. Thank you very much, Martin. Appreciate that. I have no idea what NOK is, but that is very kind of you. I always love when I get super chats and I have no clue what the crypto or what the fiat currency is that I'm getting it in. So Substratum definitely has made pretty nice moves over the past. Let's see, CoinMarketCap. Pretty nice moves. I mean, it's gone. They raised 13 million in ICO. They're up to 75 mil in terms of the market cap. Pretty big time move in the past week or so. Look at the last 7 days. But up from around $30 million market cap, 2.5x, which is pretty strong. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, a lot of these, so the big thing in my opinion too, and there's only so many places, at least for me personally, to logically, like for me right now, I think I own 6 cryptocurrencies. And that's just a good number for me. And some people like to have a lot more, some people like to have less, and it is kind of what it is at that point in time. But if you have 10, if you have 20, that's fine. I like to do research and keep close tabs on the ones I'm in, and then I also like to look outside of the other ones that I might be looking at. So Substratum seems like a pretty, I don't want to say aggressive project, but it's an ambitious project. We'll see how it ends up planning out. Is there really going to be a need for free unrestricted access to the web? Is that going to be something that they can really deliver on? But the one thing that I forget who mentioned this in the previous chat, but the whole net neutrality thing, that's the type of thing that even if it's not real, or like net neutrality is this debate right now and all this stuff going on is definitely real. So that's absolutely real. But even if Substratum, like adding value and becoming a decentralized web without and helping people from net neutrality, even if that's something that's like basically impossible, that can definitely be, quite frankly, and I have nothing in Substratum right now, but that can definitely be the type of thing that drives the price of a cryptocurrency through the roof. And like everybody's like, oh yeah, it's net neutrality, Substratum. So that's like the type of like little investing thesis that can drive a cryptocurrency through the roof. So thoughts on Ripple prices? 10K Manitha. What's up, Corey? What's up? Yeah, Manitha, jump off a bridge. I'm the worst. Where's Manitha these days if you're playing the drinking game? $14 million market cap. Yep. So back here was when I invested, as I was saying before, I invested about 8 ETH in, and that went up to about, at this point in time, worth about 20 Ethereum. I invested with a couple buddies, used a smart contract, and all my friends sold out up here. They're like, yeah, I'm just getting my money out and I'm going to put it back in another ICO. I was like, I'll hold on. It's only trading on Ether Delta and whatever. At that point in time, it was like just on Ether Delta and Binance. It's like, it'll be on Bittrex soon. And then it just went all the way down, and that was the worst. So thoughts on the Ripple prices, video on Ripple coming. So I'm not the biggest Ripple fan, maybe. And if you're looking at it trading against Bitcoin, it has been, at least in the past 3 months, it has been by far the better move to have your money in Bitcoin than it has been, to keep it in Ripple. Granted, Ripple was in, let's say, March, May, early parts of 2017. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It had that ridiculous run. I have a good friend that I work with that made 6 figures off of Ripple, moving from, just no money all the way up through the roof, like less than a cent to whatever it was at now, or whatever it was at back in May. Made a ton of money. Basically bought a house on Ripple. So for me personally, though, I don't really have too much with it. I don't touch it all that much. So we'll see what goes on there. So somebody mentioned Bitcoin Cash. Looks like there's a little bit of debate right now between Bitcoin Cash in the chat. And what I'll say to that is I think there is a so what I'll say to that too is, depending upon, everybody has their own thoughts. Some people love Bitcoin, some people love Bitcoin Cash, some people hate Bitcoin, some people hate Bitcoin Cash, whatever it might be. I will say this though, that if you are unsure, if you're unsure of either thing moving forward, and you don't know, you think that there's some big conspiracy theory of Bitcoin Cash overtaking Bitcoin, just buy an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin and just go forward with both of them. And then if there is some crazy conspiracy theory or not even crazy, because Roger Ver has basically come out and said specifically, Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin, and we're going to be better, and we're going to be more valuable, and we're a better investment, and we're cash, and we're peer-to-peer, blah, 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 and kind of launching his Bitcoin smear campaign. If you think that someday Bitcoin Cash will outpace Bitcoin and will be more valuable than Bitcoin, just buy an equal number of Bitcoin Cash that you own to Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin goes down because of Bitcoin Cash, you own Bitcoin Cash. So I don't personally own any Bitcoin Cash at all. I've had a couple Bitcoin Cash trades in the past, but I don't own any Bitcoin Cash. But if you want to hedge yourself against potentially Bitcoin Cash taking over, that's kind of what I would do, is I would just buy an equal number of Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin. And basically, I view one or the other as kind of winning and one or the other as losing, in my somewhat opinion there. Martin, appreciate that super chat. Do you believe it's possible to get rich in a long-term perspective with 500 bucks a month into Bitcoin and ETH? Define rich. So I don't... I would say define rich, but depending upon where you got in and how far along we are, if you were putting $500 a month into, if you were putting $500 a month into Bitcoin back in for the past couple of years, if you were putting $500 a month into Bitcoin every month from here, yeah, right now you're rich. If you're putting $500 a month into Bitcoin now, are you going to get rich? Maybe, maybe not. Are you going to be more wealthy? Maybe, maybe not. So, but I do think dollar cost averaging on a monthly basis into Bitcoin and into Ethereum is a wise strategy, and that's something that essentially that I do. So, also with some selected altcoins that I like and I think have some good long-term potential. But that type of strategy is something where it doesn't necessarily have to be to get rich. I don't think that's always the best strategy is, I want to be rich and I want to buy a Lambo and all this stuff. Yes, people in the past have done that, but, going into it with that perspective might lead to unrealistic expectations. And there are a lot of people out there that are making YouTube videos talking about how rich they're getting and all that BS. But if you go in with the proper expectations of, hey, maybe I'm not going to get rich from this, but I'm going to make more than I might make with putting my money in the stock market or leaving my money in a interest-bearing savings account that gets less than 0.5% interest per year, then that's something that I think is an intelligent move. So what altcoin? So if you guys are not familiar, so I have, if you guys are new, I need to update this a little bit. But if you guys are new, so this is my portfolio. I'll put the link there. Put the link in the comments. But for me right now, the altcoins that I'm holding is Cardano. I need to update this because I actually added Zcash as well. But Cardano, OMG, Omise Go, Civic is another one that I participated in the ICO, and then Zcash. So that's my current holdings right now. I'm sure a lot of people are going to say, why don't you hold this? Why don't you hold that? But like I said, there's only so many things that I can look at and evaluate in a given time frame. And yeah, we'll go from there. Craig Thompson, what's going on, man? Appreciate you joining live. So hopefully that gives a little bit of insight as far as kind of where my head's at and where mostly in top 20, and then with the exception of Civic, which has not underperformed recently, but for the most part, I've just held on to it for better or for worse. I've taken a little bit off the top, but it definitely hasn't. It certainly hasn't outperformed Bitcoin in the past 3 months. And yeah, maybe holding on to it hasn't been the best move. So I'm gonna evaluate looking at. Yeah, take a look into Monero over Zcash. That is something that I have been looking at, and I might even kind of double into Monero and Zcash as well. So taking a look at both of those. Yeah, Adam, I just punt on every question, bro. Because I can just get to every single one of them. So looking at some of these, why no Litecoin? I just would rather personally, for me personally, why no Litecoin? I would just rather have a little bit of. I would rather put my money in Bitcoin than I would in Litecoin for the time being. Litecoin is kind of the silver to Bitcoin's gold. I would just rather have my money in gold. And I think Ethereum kind of accomplishes something different than I tried to have all of the, for the most part, cryptocurrency is for the most part, it doesn't always go up together. It doesn't always go down together, but it's kind of a rising tide effect in a lot of cases. But I've tried to kind of have a different investing thesis for every crypto, Bitcoin being kind of the gold standard, Ethereum being the platform play. OMG being that kind of productized play, Civic, the identity play, Cardano, somewhat having a platform play in Asia. So we'll see what happens there. Bought Cardano, same time. Should I sell it today, buy lower, or should it be looking long term? Does it make sense to buy and accumulate? Taking a look here. So Cardano, I'm holding on for, I don't want to say the long term, but I don't necessarily want to just sell it at 25% gain. I mean, that could be the wrong way to look at it, and maybe I should take some of those profits and move them elsewhere. But yeah, for the most part, I'm holding on to the Cardano that I bought at the same time frame that you likely did, and just going to continue to look there. Taking a look at some of these questions. Appreciate that, Kev. Thank you very much. Robinhood, I have not checked out Robinhood. The ICO was something that I didn't really want to participate in, but that doesn't mean the platform can't be a good thing. So always something to consider. And I think, it's always important to stay open-minded for the most part. Opinion on Lisk and Power Ledger. Power Ledger has gone through the roof. It's been pretty crazy. I talked a little bit about Power Ledger before, but I had an opportunity to get into the ICO of Power Ledger. I did not do it, and I certainly regret not doing it. And that's me. But I also don't necessarily feel comfortable buying into something like Power Ledger now on a massive run that it's had. It's gone up 10x. I don't really feel comfortable buying into something like that. A couple different people have asked about Electroneum. I tend to joke around a little bit around Electroneum. I think that they did, quite frankly, a disservice to a lot of people, and they raised $40 million during their ICO. They're trading at 2.9 cents right now. I don't think that they should have taken money before they had a secure system in place. The fact that they had to hire HackerOne, and now that they're kind of parading HackerOne around like it's some savior and all this stuff, I think that's extremely irresponsible. And I think that the fact that they're allowing mining on their net, they opened the network up to mining, but all these people, basically everybody that gave them their money in their company, pretty much gave them $40 million, has no opportunity to sell their cryptocurrency. And this is just volume based on mining alone, essentially, at this point in time. So I'm not a big Electroneum fan. Maybe they'll turn things around, but I think they completely botched the launch. I don't think that they do anything special. And if I invested in the ICO, I'd be pretty pissed that I don't have access to my money and that they're now bragging about HackerOne and all that stuff. So that's just my thoughts. Aiden, appreciate that. What exchanges do I use? So I use GDAX, I use Bittrex, I use Binance. Those are my primary exchanges that I use. For alts, Monero versus Zcoin, Cardano versus Ripple. I like Cardano a little bit more than Ripple right now. Monero seems to be the leader, and then I took a jump into Zcash just because Monero basically just hit its all-time high pretty recently. So, Shane, given the recent news, do you feel comfortable hedging in Tether at all? No, I wouldn't hedge in Tether. I think if you want to get your money out of crypto and you want to hedge or just have some money in fiat, I would use it in fiat and I wouldn't put your money in Tether long term. That's my personal opinion, especially with a lot of the FUD that's coming up around Tether. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not, but I would just have my money at this point in time, I would have my money in fiat if you don't want to have it in crypto. And guys, outside of that, so I just wanted to pop in here, have a little bit of a chat with you. But I think I actually smelled dinner burning at this point in time, so I should probably get to that. So I'm going to head out for the evening. But I appreciate all the questions, all of you folks that have joined in. And if you are new to the channel by any chance, hit the subscribe button and the little notify bell next to that. And that way, the next time I do go live, you're able to join from the beginning or as close to it as possible. But I really do appreciate all the questions. If I wasn't able to answer any of them, I really am sorry. There's just a lot that come in. So I try to answer as many as I possibly can. So I do apologize if I wasn't able to answer any of yours. So really, thank you so much for the questions and everything there. I hope you have a good one tonight. Take it easy, everybody. Peace.